Detroit, the time is now.
Guys, welcome back. Detroit Den 313. We got day 3 of training camp content for you today. But before we get started, please take a second. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and don't forget that bell icon so you don't miss any of this content. It's now football season, guys. It's here. We're 3 days in. And as this thing goes, we're just going to keep this content flowing. Today, we're talking about day 3, and one of the highlights to me of day 3 is just knowing that CJ Gardner-Johnson is okay, right? No structural damage. We got the opportunity. Steve and I got an opportunity. Speaking of, we're missing Steve today. They got him working. You know, you guys got to get us pumped up so we can do this thing full time, and we ain't got to keep going to these jobs. But yeah, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Dan Campbell actually said it. No structural damage, so he'll be back soon. Hopefully, they don't rush him back, and we let him ease his way back into this thing so he can be full throttle for the season. But glad to hear that he's okay. With that being said, in the secondary, and something that was kind of surprising to me in the press conference today, Dan Campbell said the first two things he thought about when we saw CJ go down was, you know, how terrible it was, and hopefully that he was hoping that he was okay. But secondly, that next man up, and that next man being Will Harris. To me, I thought that the next man up would automatically would be Brian Branch, a guy that has just been phenomenal so far. They've been talking about him making highlight plays throughout camp. And I just thought that he would be the guy kind of getting the nod because of his potential and the things that he brings to the table. But they called up the veteran. So it sounds like the veteran is going to get his opportunity to win or lose that job. So that'll be something to keep an eye on moving forward throughout camps. Now, Branch did get some reps today with the number ones, but like I said, Will Harris got most of the reps with the ones today. Keeping it in the secondary, Starling Thomas, man, we may have found a bit of a sleeper, undrafted free agent out of UAB. We knew he had speed, 4.3 speed. He's raw, or at least that's what we heard. But throughout camp, he's another one, man. He's been making a lot of plays. He's been making some noise, and he's been getting the right corner reps with the second team. So he'll be another guy to keep an eye on. And also, he's getting the first team reps so far with Brian Branch across from him. This could be a nasty duo as the gunners, running down as a gunner. So those are the two guys that are fast. They can hit. They can make plays. So I think we're going to see some guys that could potentially go other places and be starters on our special teams, man. It's exciting where this team is right now. Another thing that Dan Campbell mentioned today, he talked about how Teddy Bridgewater came in for a visit on Monday. I kind of thought that this Teddy Bridgewater thing was dead, not because I have any problem with Teddy, but I just thought that, you know, with us getting Hendon Hooker, pulling back Nate Sudfeld, and I thought Teddy Bridgewater would be going somewhere where he could maybe compete for a starting job, and if not, just I thought he'd go a different direction with us getting Hendon Hooker. But we brought him in for a visit. Dan Campbell said he made no secrets about it. Again, that goes into things that we talked about in Pat podcast with Sheila, Dan, and Brad being super transparent in what they're trying to do. And they said that they told Nate about it, and he's a guy that they're super interested in. He's a tried and true veteran. And I'm not going to say the words, kind of like Dan Campbell, if you watch his press conference today, he didn't say the words, but if there was a situation where we needed another quarterback, he just wants to make sure that this ship or this train is not derailed. You know, we're going to continue to compete. This is year 3, and we are ready to compete from Lombardi's, guys. We're ready to compete, man. And I think we're trying to do the things that we need to do to make sure that if we got a run going, it continues no matter what. Um, Another thing to keep an eye on is that guard position, man, with Haloti and Graham Glasgow, man. Glasgow has been getting the first team reps so far. Dan mentioned it today. He's not sure really where they're at. The position is still open, but right now It's a little bit of keeping Halodi's legs up under him, and making sure we're not bringing him in off an injury, just throwing him into the fire. And the other bit of that is Graham Glasgow is a versatile, really good offensive lineman. So it'll be another thing to keep an eye on as we go through camp. Let's see who's going to win that job. But either way, man, we're going to have a tough offensive line. I listened to a Taylor Decker interview where he talked about how close this group is, how these guys are they're great friends. They hang out outside of football. Their chemistry is phenomenal. So I think moving forward, this is kind of I don't want to say the heart and soul, but the anchor of our offense, man. And we got guys that are versatile. We can play with the next man up. But these guys, coming into the season, they all know the checks. Decker and Glasgow have played together before. They're just going to be hitting the ground running. We got new weapons in Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta. I think from a blocking standpoint, what better group to kind of carry you as a tight end as you're trying to learn how to block at the NFL level would be, a group that's one of the premier groups in the league. I think the only group that's competing with them would be the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. So moving forward, that'll be something else to watch, see who wins this the guard position. Another position I want to talk about is James Houston and the Sam linebacker position. I know James Houston is a fan favorite. Him just racking up those sacks last year, chasing down these quarterbacks was awesome. But if he's going to be a serious starter at the NFL level, he's going to have to do more than rush the passer. He's going to have to be more than a situational piece, so to speak. I mean, if he's going to be a guy who doesn't have to come off the field, first, second down, he's going to have to be able to stand up and offer some production at the linebacker position. Right now, as it stands, it seems like it's Charles Harris's job. That's what Dan Campbell said today. And Charles Harris is a guy that I'm really high on. I think he's an underdog. I think he's a sleeper. And I think that he is going to turn some heads and cause some chaos this year at that Sam linebacker position. He's the type of guy that can come up and put his hand in the dirt, or he can stand up. And I think people are really forgetting that Charles Harris is a first-round draft pick, man. Like, he's not just a player that doesn't have true potential to make an impact in this league. He's a first-round draft pick, and he can play football, man. I think people are going to be surprised at how he comes back this year. He said that he has something to prove, and I think that we're going to see that this year. So to finish this thing today, this is something that makes me feel just warm and fuzzy inside. Steve talks about it a lot. Well, not a lot, but he makes mention to it here and there. I don't want to tip my hat on some things that I might be looking at in our fantasy football league, but there was a fire lit today in day 3 of training camp, and I think this is a story of day 3 of training camp. Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown were just doing whatever they wanted. I think Amon-Ra had something like 6 touchdowns today. Jared Goff only threw 2 incompletions all day. They were setting the field on fire throughout, just ever since the Lions has came back from mini camp through day 3 of training camp. All we've talked about is how the defense is a little bit ahead of the offense, which is to be expected, and how sticky the secondary is and how tough it is to get the ball around. And today, the offense lit it up today. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that moving forward. We got a lot of weapons. I seen Mims today had a one-hand catch that was pretty nasty. I think that moving forward, like I said, this is going to be something to look out for. And maybe these are some guys that I pull into the Ford fantasy team. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not going to tip my hat, but it'll be definitely guys that I'm keeping an eye on. So that being said, guys, that's all we got for today. Day 3 of training camp. The offense lights things on fire. Look forward to putting some content back out tomorrow. Peace.